Hello everyone, this is Earth Archives. In human history, there are too many things that we cannot understand now. Today, we will propose 10 currently difficult mysteries for everyone to use their brains. Before the show starts, please subscribe, share, and turn on the little bell. This will help us grow faster. Without further ado, the show begins. Diving into the tangled vines of ancient history is like opening a dusty, old chest filled with the world's most intriguing puzzles. Ever heard about lost graves or entire cities swallowed by the sea? Yeah, those stories aren't just the stuff of an Indiana Jones flick. They've been tickling the fancies of curious minds for donkey's years. Andrea M. Berlin, a cool cat and a professor of archaeology at Boston University, spills the tea on why we're all so hooked on these mysteries. We're suckers for a good origin story, and we can't help but get lured into the enigma of the unseen, the stories of yesteryears that have somehow managed to stay out of sight, she explains. It's like we're all born with a Sherlock Holmes hat, eager to decode the world's ancient riddles. But here's where it gets juicy. Some of these age-old mysteries might not stay mysteries forever. Thanks to the mind-blowing gadgets and gizmos at our disposal today, archaeologists are no longer just relying on the good old pickaxe and wheelbarrow routine. Stumbled upon a clay pellet. No sweat. Let's just pop it into an atomic reactor, no big deal, and break down its chemical makeup. Back in my day, doesn't really apply here. The game has seriously leveled up since the 1950s. Berlin gives us the lowdown. Every whiz-bang technology that's come our way, starting with carbon-14 dating, has been like a shot of adrenaline to archaeology. We're talking X-ray vision level of insight here, people. The questions we can ask and answer nowadays would blow the powdered wigs off our 19th century homies. And oh, the things they've unearthed. You'd be gobsmacked at the complexity of ancient sites we've stumbled upon, she adds with a twinkle in her eye. Now, don't get it twisted. Most archaeologists aren't out there trying to be the next Indiana Jones, chasing after Noah's Ark or King Tut's blinged-out sarcophagus. But Berlin knows there's something magical about these quests. Thonis Heraklion. Picture this, Thonis Heraklion, not just your average Egyptian port city, but a bustling hive of trade and tales, nestled right up against the Mediterranean's azure embrace. Think of bazaars filled with the chatter of merchants, the air thick with the scent of spices and the sea. This isn't just any spot on the map. It's where legends like the mighty Heracles flexed his muscles and Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships, decided to chill for a bit. We're talking about a place so lit, it was the go-to trading spot before Alexandria decided to show up and steal the spotlight around 331 BC. Now here's where it gets all Indiana Jones. Around the 2nd century BC, Thonis Heraklion took a dramatic turn. Imagine the ground beneath you turning to soup, swallowing entire city blocks whole. That's what soil liquefaction is all about, folks, and thanks to some seriously bad luck with earthquakes, tsunamis, or maybe an infuriated Poseidon, we're not ruling anything out, the city center kissed the surface goodbye. In what feels like a splashy vanishing act, the city dipped below the waves, settling into an underwater slumber, hidden away from prying eyes and nosy historians. Fast forward to the early 2000s, cue the marine archaeologists, basically underwater detectives, diving into the deep blue mystery. What they found was nothing short of a sunken treasure chest. We're talking massive statues that once looked out over the city, animal sarcophagi, yes, even Fido got a fancy burial. The crumbling ruins of temples, shards of pottery, glitzy jewelry that could have belonged to the Kardashians, ancient coins, and get this, fruit baskets that are over 2,400 years old. Talk about your fruit going bad. Thonis Heraklion isn't just making a splash. It's rewriting history pages, giving us a VIP pass to what some are calling the real-life Atlantis. Each artifact, each column, and every single coin tells a story, threading together a narrative of a city that was once a cornerstone of civilization, now brought back to light from its aquatic crypt. Buckle up, history buffs, because Thonis Heraklion is just warming up. Plain of Jars. Alright, folks, buckle up for a journey into the mysterious mountains of northern Laos, where you'll stumble upon a cosmic game of Guess Who, with a twist of ancient flair. Picture this, a sprawling land peppered with thousands of massive stone jars, draped in lichen like they're gearing up for turtleneck season. We're talking big league jars here, some of them towering up at almost 10 feet tall and rocking the scales at several tons. Who needs CrossFit when you've got Iron Age giants tossing around these behemoths like they're wine glasses on a Friday night? Legend whispers of titanic beings using these jars to sip on their vino, But let's flip the script and dive into what the brainy bunch, our dear archaeologists, have to say. They're betting their last trowel that these aren't remnants of a giant's BYOB party, but rather, somber funerary urns. Yet, here's the kicker. There's a heap of mystery shrouding these stone behemoths. How did they end up sprinkled across the Laotian landscape? Who were the masterminds chiseling away at sandstone to craft them? And most tantalizingly, what was their true purpose? Hold on to your hats, because recent digs and head-scratching have unearthed a bombshell. Some of these jar jockeys date back to as early as 1240 BC. That's not just old, that's strutting around in a toga, giving zero figs kind of old, way outdating the human bones buried nearby. But wait, there's a plot twist that turns this archaeological thriller up to 11. Scattered among these jars are souvenirs from a less mythical era. A blanket of unexploded bombs, leftovers from the US, explosive RSVP to the Vietnam War party. Talk about an occupational hazard. This minefield of history makes studying these jars a game of high stakes, adding layers of complexity and danger to an already enigmatic puzzle. So there you have it, a tale of stone jars in Laos that's got it all: giants, archaeology, ancient mysteries, and a dash of modern mayhem. As the story unfolds and the mind's clear, who knows what secrets we'll unearth next from these silent sentinels of the past. Guanabara Bay. Imagine this, it's 1982, and word on the street, or rather, the sea, has it that there's something wild lurking in Brazil's Guanabara Bay. Enter Robert Marks, a shipwreck hunter with a reputation that's as colorful as a parrot on a pirate's shoulder. Marks, fueled by whispers from the locals, dives into the bay and surfaces with a tale that could flip the history books on their heads. Picture this: ancient Roman vases, known as amphoras, chilling at the bottom of the bay, their twin handles poking out like, "Hey there, didn't expect to see us, did ya?" Marks is buzzing because these aren't just any old vases. These barnacle-clad beauties are screaming, "The Romans were here first, folks, beat the Portuguese by a cool millennium." But here's where the plot thickens. Just as Marks is about to dive deeper into this historical rabbit hole, Brazil slaps him with the ultimate, nope. They ban him faster than you can say, looting, and put the kibosh on all underwater explorations in the area. Not one to take things lying down, Marks throws back an accusation that hits like a splash of cold caipirinha. He claims Brazil's navy went all out and buried those truth-telling amphoras under a heap of sediment, all to avoid the headache of rewriting history. Oof, talk about drama. Fast forward to today, and this tale of Roman wanderlust on Brazil's shores is still up in the air, dangling like a historical cliffhanger. Were the Romans sipping caipirinhas on Brazilian beaches over 1,000 years before the Portuguese? The official line says, probably not. But in the shadowy depths of Guanabara Bay, those amphoras, and Marx's wild claim, keep us guessing. Roman holiday in Brazil or just a shipwreck hunter's tall tale? The saga continues. Nazca lines. Picture this: about 2,000 years ago, without the help of Google Maps or even a decent compass, a pre-Inca civilization in Peru decides to get artsy on a gigantic canvas. We're not talking about graffiti on an underpass. We're talking about the Nazca lines, a mind-blowing collection of enormous drawings that they sketched into the dry, sandy floor of the coastal plain. These folks went all out, etching everything from simple geometric patterns to elaborate depictions of animals and even what looks like an ancient astronaut. Yeah, you heard that right, an astronaut. Now, for the longest time, these masterpieces were Peru's best-kept secret. It wasn't until pilots in the 1930s started buzzing overhead that people went, "Hang on, what's all that down there?" Fast forward to today, and we've spotted over 1,000 of these bad boys, ranging from lines that stretch out for 30 miles to fancy figures like a spider, a hummingbird, a monkey doing the monkey, a whale, a two-headed snake that definitely didn't skip leg day, a pupper, and the star of the show, the astronaut. Like, did E.T. phone home from Peru? We gots to know. Just when you thought we had seen it all, bam! 2022 rolls around, and researchers find 168 more of these ancient doodles. But here's the kicker: we're still scratching our heads over why they're there. The leading theory? These were more than your average doodle session. They might have been part of some high-stake water rituals. Because let's face it, in a desert, water's kind of a big deal. But that's just one guess. The real reason could be anything. Maybe it was ancient advertising, a giant board game, or perhaps aliens did have a layover in Peru. Despite all the brainpower thrown at them, these geoglyphs keep their secrets buried deep in the Peruvian sands, turning everyone into armchair Indiana Joneses, trying to crack the code from the comfort of their living room. Whatever the reason, the Nazca lines are a tantalizing reminder of just how innovative, mysterious, and maybe a little bit bonkers, ancient civilizations could be. Paracas candelabra. So, imagine you're cruising along the northwest of those mysterious Nazca lines, right? You've got the wind in your hair, the sun on your face, and bam! Up pops the Paracas candelabra, etched into a hillside like it's casually chilling and overlooking Peru's Pisco Bay. This isn't your average hillside graffiti, mind you. We're talking a mammoth etching that stretches a whopping 600 feet from head to toe. That's like stacking 2 football fields end to end, give or take a touchdown celebration. Now, get this, some Sherlockian archaeologists found pottery around there dating back to roughly 200 BC, but as for the big guy itself, the candelabra's age, that's anyone's guess. Could be ancient, could be vintage. Either way, it's old with a capital O. And if you thought figuring out its age was a head-scratcher, try wrapping your noggin around why it even exists. There's a camp that thinks this bad boy was the ancient world's version of GPS, giving sailors the heads up that they're nearing the bay. Ahoy, matey, steer left at the giant candelabra. Seems legit, right? But hold up, there's another squad in the mix with an entirely different hot take. They reckon it's not a signpost for sea dogs but a heavenly shout-out to the creator god's trident. Like, hey, look at me. I'm a massive divine fork in the ground. Whichever side of the fence you land on, one thing's for sure, the Paracas candelabra keeps its secrets tighter than a clam with lockjaw. Whether it's a divine symbol or ancient GPS, it's another feather in Peru's cap of, come and figure me out if you can, mysteries.